be interested in you shaving your hair off.
Yeah, let's talk about you shaving your hair off.
Darren has shaved his hair off. Hair off.
Yeah.
Off.
Well, like I said, like normally I shaved it off in my like mid-20s, I think. It was really long, and then I just didn't miss it, and just found it was easier to just keep it shaved. And then every now and again I would think, oh, I'll grow it again, and then it would get to the stage where I looked like a microphone. Was like, meh, it's coming off again. But with lockdown, and I just left it and had a bit of an undercut, and then. But I'm filming this weekend, so it had to come off, and
I mean, I think off the back of that, if any of our listeners listening would like to see Darren reprise his role as a microphone, as I'm sure we certainly would, please let us know on Discord if you'd like to see that, ladies and gents.
Actually, listeners, if any of you would like one of us to go around to Dom's place and shave his head, let us know.
Well, you would be a little bit late because it's already started happening, as you can see.
Oh, that's only the sides, though.
The sides of the back.
I mean the whole. All your long, luxurious locks. I reckon we should all shave our head.
No.
All I can say is that is the day that happens, you better call Satan and check his thermostat. That's all I'm going to say. Welcome back, listeners, to Tales from the 20 Side, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition Let's Play podcast. My name is Dom, and I'm your GM for this game and for many others, and I'm joined by our regular cast members of Mr. Stu Jackson.
Hello!
Mr. Neil Kelly.
Hello.
Mr. Darren Mafucci.
hello.
And Miss Amy Chislett.
Hello.
Good evening, folks. How are we all on this very hot and sticky evening?
Oh, it's such
Sticky.
Hot and sticky, yeah.
Hot,
Moist.
sticky, and I am getting
Moist.
Let's not go with the moist thing again.
really fucking annoyed with flies.
Oh, so many.
Like, they're just winding me right up. Like, both me and my flatmate, every now and again, we'll just hear one of us go, "Oh, fuck off!" There's just flies buzzing around, landing on bits of me.
They're really useful. How else do you know when to change your bin?
Or bury the bodies.
Or bury the bodies.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's Neil getting straight back into character there.
Yes, into character. Yeah.
We'll have to figure out at some point the exact part where Neil ends and Otto begins. I suspect there won't be much of a difference.
It's fairly seamless, yes.
It's probably where the fins start.
Well, Neil speaks German, so.
I do. I've been out of the country this weekend.
Exciting. Where you been?
I broke down and went to Holland.
Very nice.
From Friday to Sunday.
Oh, nice.
And it cost me a fucking shit ton of money, not much more than I expected. There's this thing because Holland was, I think it still is, amber. They've put Britain on the red list now, so that's how they're reciprocating. But when you go, you have to have a PCR test, a COVID test, before you have to show that certificate when you get on the train. And if you're going for less than 3 days, that same one will get you back. But it was a really fine cut thing that because I got my test at 13:55 on Thursday, and I boarded the train to come back at 13:54, or that's the time the train departed on Sunday. So I made 71 hours and 59 seconds. But the sting in the tail, and when you come back, you have to self-isolate for 10 days, and you have the option of paying for another. You can't have a free one. Free ones don't count. You have to go private and pay for another PCR test after 5 days to be allowed out, to shorten your self-isolation. But what you don't realise until you're actually abroad is when they say, right, you've got to fill in this passenger locator form to get back on the Eurostar. And so you start filling in the form online, and then it comes to the bit where it says you have to book COVID tests. So you have to book a COVID test for day 2 and day 8. And there's no way you can complete the form unless you do it. So there's an extra 200 quid for 2 more tests that I have to do that won't even allow me out of lockdown. So
Yeah,
just
that's
a little warning for anyone going abroad. There is this extra expense of 200 odd quid that will ambush you, that no one will tell you about until it's time to come back.
I mean, that's a big part of the reason why I've now completely sacked off my European holiday for July and August, because I was because the festival that I was going to cancelled, as I kind of expected they would. But I was still quite set on getting back out to Slovenia, maybe Italy, a bit of Croatia and stuff. But sort of trying to figure it all out and how it works with restrictions and tests and lockdown and isolation stuff, it was just becoming such a massive headache that I just decided, you know what, I'll pack it all in and we'll wait till next year. But I gather, Neil, it must have been worth it for you to do so because you finally got to see your grandson. Is that right?
I got to meet my grandson for the first time, born on 27th of November last year, and I met his dad for the first time as well. He was a lovely bloke, and my grandson is a lovely bloke as well.
You don't think of babies being blokes, do you?
But he is. He's a bloke, you know. He's a. Because with Holland is football mad at the moment with the what was it, the Euro Cup. So when his dad and I were left alone with the baby for a while, we put up one of those transfers on his arm with the Dutch flag and the new wave, which his mum didn't like very much. But he'd sit in his high chair with his elbow hanging over the side like a truck driver, you know, showing his big tattoo.
Aww.
English genes corrupting the rest of the world.
Nothing new there then, eh?
No.
Oh dear. Right, folks. I feel like we're about ready to get back into a game. What do you reckon?
Oh, yes, exciting.
I'm in character already.
You definitely are. I mean, I feel like at this point, Neil, you just never leave character.
It's too much trouble. It's too much work getting in and out. So easy to just stay.
Yeah, Neil.
It's those inverted commas again. Character, yeah.
Neil Kelly has been fully
Personality.
replaced by Otto von Niederschläger. There we go. But yeah, you guys have been making some progress through Irison after leaving your grisly scene behind in Elsprin. You're starting to see just a glimmer of the light at the end of your current tunnel. How are you feeling about that? White Throne is almost in sight.
I feel wonderful.
I feel it won't be as simple as that.
Yeah.
I don't see what can possibly go wrong.
Well,
Yeah, just ask that all the way through. What can go wrong? Just keep on asking that over and over again. Yeah.
Well, how about we find out exactly what can go wrong by diving back into the game, folks?
If anybody can tell us, it's you, Dom.
Well, I mean, it's almost like I have that power over the world and its denizens, isn't it?
Yes.
It's almost
And,
like we've just dared you to do your worst.
And can I just say a big thank you to Rovergerg. Splinter Elemental, really?
Oh yes, I've been cooking up something very special on the back of that little Discord exchange.
Great. Blaming you, Rovergerg.
I better get the tweezers then.
I mean, I feel like you should blame Amy because Amy was the instigator there, really.
Did I miss something on Discord?
I know I did, because you've lost me.
Yeah, I haven't been social mediaing properly for a while.
Well, yes, Rovergerg mentioned about how trepidatious we had been, you know, and when we heard about Twig, it's like, ooh, could this Twig be dangerous? And he thought that was hilarious. And Amy pointed out quite rightly, well, splinters are a bit of a bugger. So there is such a thing as a splinter elemental, and it's a bastard.
And also, well, there is not such a thing, but there is going to be such a thing.
There we go. There we go. Well, there is now.
But also, just to come out in defence of you guys a little bit, like I can understand your party's general fear of sentient plants because you've not had a very good time with them up to this point.
Exactly.
Just to point out, it's not just sentient plants. We just haven't had a good time, full stop.
Wow.
It's been a shit show.
Wow. Has it?
Got a necklace. I think I'm coming out on top.
I mean, as players, we've had a blast, and you know, it's an entertaining story. But as characters, my God, yeah, there's so much blood, and of course, Alwyn's had to put up with hanging around Otto,
and
which is
vice versa,
which is it's terrifying.
which
There we
is
go.
Tempting.
Well, before I get
Is Otto gonna put a bounty on Alwyn's head now just so we can collect it?
I was going to say, I feel perhaps we should be moving on before I have to ask Stu and Neil to roll initiative in real life. All right then.
I
folks.
think that's bad. You should hear our other podcast.
Yeah, mental.
Yeah. To which there will be a link in the description, I'm sure. Check that out if you're into anything paranormal and alien related.
Aliensexplored.com.
There you go. There we go. So, bringing ourselves back into the game, folks, before we get too carried away there. Our adventurers, Alwyn Templeton, Brother Amos, Otto von Niederschläger, and Dela Thornbury are progressing nicely along their lengthy journey toward the city of Whitethrone in the north of Irison. You had just left the small town of Elsprin, where Nadia had kind of left her children for a brief period, so she could guide you onward to Whitethrone without them being a worry. And on discovering a grisly scene in the centre of the town, you did some snooping around, asking a few locals what had happened, and you learned that the village had been the site of a battle between two of Irison's feared cold sisters a few days previously, and suspecting that perhaps one of these individuals might even have passed you on the road at one point, but reasoning quite correctly that there was nothing more you could do for this headless individual at this time. You had a day's rest in the settlement. You recovered your strength after the incident on the outskirts of town with Garin and the two quicklings. And the next day, you decided best to press on, continue your journey, and get yourselves to Whitethrone. And as you continue journeying northwards through the plains of Irison, you crested the ridge of a hill, and just as you did so, the sort of fog and mist around you parted for just a moment, and you could see stretched out before you was an immense glacial lake, seemingly frozen over from what you could see, but perhaps more importantly, what you could see just on the very edge of your vision, kind of on the horizon, was what looked to be a glittering spire of ice rising into the sky, surrounded by a sprawling urban settlement, which you assume to be the city of Whitethrone. Almost within striking distance, almost within tasting distance, but still with seemingly a bit of a trek to get there. So, that concludes the little recap there. Adventurers, what would you like to do?
I suppose we should go to the tower.
Who's for setting out directly across the lake?
Yes.
Now, I know what you want, Brother Amos. You're hoping that the ice will crack, that Otto will fall in and have to turn into a... Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just so we can all jump over him. I don't know. I don't think going over the ice is a particularly good idea myself. I'd rather we take our time and get there safe. Better to get there slowly and in one piece.
I think there is a saying about that where I come from. Something like, better late than never.
Yes!
Have you heard that one?
No, how does it go?
Better late than never.
Right. Okay.
So there's a
Good.
long way, is there, that's less hazardous.
Wisdom. But round the lake.
Around the
The
lake.
city is not in the middle of the lake.
No.
We can go round the lake.
Can we though? It could be an enormous lake.
And indeed, as you're having this thought, you do see that this is a particularly large lake. Like it's from what you can see, it's stretching out from more or less where you currently are. Kind of, you're kind of on this ridge, and you're elevated above it, so your view is even further than it would be normally. And the lake can stretch. Well, the lake to the city of Whitethrone stretches almost all the way to the horizon as far as you can see, and then it sprawls out also in to the south as well. This is a very large lake. You seem to have come at it from a bit of an angle.
I mean, it'll take us a long time to go round, but you know.
Are we in any particular hurry?
Well, the world will end. There is a third option. Just putting it out there. We can always just turn around and go home.
That is always the option.
It's always an option.
Always option one. Do nothing.
Always an option, adventurers.
Okay, bye.
That's it. Podcast's over, folks. That's all right. Go on. And they all lived happily ever after. Not
In the snow.
in the
For
snow.
as long as the world carried on. Yeah. All right. Yes. All right. Let's go across the bloody. I mean, Nadia, you're a local. I mean, do you think it's a good idea to go across the bloody lake in the thin ice and get eaten by monsters?
No, thin ice is not a good idea, but I'm banking on it being thick ice.
No, if I'm honest, Alwyn, I think it's a damn stupid idea.
Yay! That's two for going round.
Let's go round then.
I mean, it's not going to be too much farther. We've got maybe a day and a half going around from here. It won't take too long. You could certainly save some time if you're in a hurry, but that ice is not as solid as it looks. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm glad we included you in our conversation, Nadia, after all. And yes, you're right. We will do as you say.
I mean, there's a fourth option. We can always split the party.
Well, I'm also thinking if we go from a tactical point of view, if we go directly across the ice, they will see us coming from miles away. That might not be such a good thing.
Oh, everybody always sees me coming, it seems.
Well, you don't have to go out of your way to make sure it does happen.
Around
All
it
right.
is then.
All right. So you have opted to travel around the Great Glacier Lake that you found yourselves next to. So as your little caravan continues northwards, now with a defined target in mind, you can hug the shoreline much more deftly, much more closely, and after a couple more hours of travelling, as you sort of descend back down from the higher up places into the snowfields and the plains of Irison itself, you do find that you quite quickly lose sight of the city once again in the mist and sort of over the horizon line. But certainly was certainly visible for that brief moment before you descended back down. And after a couple of hours of travelling, you all start to hear the sound of actually quite heavily rushing water, sort of coming from a distance ahead of you. And as you round a rise, you see that the path you're following leads to what seems to be a stone bridge that seems to be spanning a large gap in the ground, and this sound of rushing water gets louder as you get closer.
This must be where the river flows into the lake, or out of it.
Yes.
Oh, it's a glacial lake, isn't it? Water will flow out of it, of course.
I'll take your word for it.
As the ice melts, it will form a river. So I don't see it's anything to worry about, and if there's a bridge, well, we just go across it.
How are canyons made?
Canyons?
Never mind. Anyway.
Well, when a mummy canyon and a daddy canyon love each other very much, they have a special quake.
Does that make them Quakers? No. Anyway. Go over the bridge, presumably.
Okay, so as you begin to approach the bridge, you start to see that this sort of crevasse isn't super deep. Like, you're still kind of on level with the lake, more or less. But as you get closer, you can definitely hear the sound of quite fast rushing water passing in this gap in the land ahead of you. And the stone bridge, as you get closer, looks like it's seen better days. It doesn't. I mean, certainly from a cursory inspection, it doesn't look as though it's going to collapse at any time soon. But you certainly get the sense that you'll probably need to dismount from your wolf sleds and take them over gently, so to avoid damaging them. And as you approach the near side of the bridge, you see what looks to be a wooden sign hung on the near end of the bridge.
I've had a bad experience with signs near crossings.
It probably just says, "Do not read this sign."
Yes. Or it might say, if you notice this notice, you will notice that this notice is not worth noticing.
Or "Do not throw stones at this sign."
It says
I'll read the sign.
no trainers. And no tracksuit bottoms.
You think you're coming in with a haircut like that?
It says Otto, sharks only.
Alright, so Alwyn, you sort of step forward to inspect the sign, and you see that this is a fairly ramshackle wooden sign. You know, it's clearly been cobbled together from sort of bits of driftwood here and there, sort of loose materials that have been found rather than made. But you can see sort of painted on it in a very dark red liquid, possibly a paint or something. You're not too sure. It says in a kind of broken common. It has written in big letters, "Papers, please." Except "please" is spelt PLEEZ.
It's Troll. Troll's Bridges. That's anonymous. Right. Papers. Nadia. What papers do we need?
I don't know, if I'm honest. I mean, this wasn't here last time I came up to Whitethrone. I mean, the Jadwiga, they do have a good relationship with, trolls and giants and things. Could be they've got one out here as a deputy collecting taxes on the road or something. I don't know.
So it's this paper. Paper money is not a thing here, is it? Okay. Hello, whoever's needing to see identification or whatever, we'd like to cross the bridge, please. Call that out loud.
Okay. As you call out loud there, Alwyn, you do in fact get a response. You hear a low rumbling voice coming from the far end of the bridge. Sort of, you can't see where this voice is coming from, but you hear it vaguely in the direction of the other end of the bridge. Just calls back to you. Yes, papers. You'll pay bridge tax if paper's not in order.
What papers?
Papers. Right of passage papers. Papers that say you don't need bridge tax.
I wonder how much this bridge tax is.
And where would we get those papers?
Oh, it's all right. I'm sure we've got some somewhere. And then go like quietly. Right. Has anyone got any paper and a quill and ink?
No.
I think we can just write, these people can cross with no tax, and that'll do.
But it's worth a try.
Yes.
Anyone got any paper and a quill?
Any? Yes.
I've got some chalk.
That'll do.
We can write it on the ground and invite him over to look.
Well, hang on. Is there any trees nearby that we can strip the bark off?
Yeah, there are a couple of quite spindly-looking trees in this area. You found yourself sort of more in plains and snowfields rather than kind of wooded areas, but you can see a couple of spindly-looking trees reasonably close to the path.
Okay, I'd like to go and get a decent-sized piece of bark.
Be careful of splinters.
And bring it back. Yes. Yes.
Oh
Yes.
no!
Yes.
And then
Don't want to
suddenly-
run into any twigs.
Don't write it on a quickling.
Alwyn,
Yes.
as you start to scrape some bark off the tree, I would like you to please roll initiative. I'm joking. I am joking.
I was about to ask if you were. Not that I don't trust you or anything, but yeah, and I'd like to bring it back to Dela.
Yeah, you do. You acquire some bark from the tree and you take it back to Dela.
What do you want me to do with a bit of bark?
Well, you're right on it. Say these people don't need to pay the bridge tax.
What language should we write in?
Common.
Common?
Common.
But,
the sign's in common.
yes, but could we write it in a language that he won't understand, but he will just accept it? Because
Well, no, we want him to understand it. Otherwise, he'll say, "I can't read this."
and we'll laugh at him for his ignorance, and he'll be so embarrassed he'll just let us go.
And he'll be so embarrassed he'll punch you, and you die.
Well, I'm not going to hand it over to him then.
That's right. I'll hand it over. I'll
write it in. All right, then you get
okay.
to choose what language we write it in.
I'll write it in common. I think that's the sensiblest thing to do.
Right. Yeah, once Stella's done that, take it and then approach the bridge. Right,
So
I've got the paper.
What are we writing in the name of the White Throne?
No, just these people can cross without paying bridge tax.
I give
That's it.
authorization
Nice.
for this group to pass over the bridge without tax and then like a really fancy squiggle signature.
Oh, big words. Excellent.
I tell you what, Della, just give me a flat dexterity roll. Let's see how creative this can be for you. How well made it is. So just roll d20, add your dex modifier.
There it is. 12.
12. Okay. Yeah, you. It doesn't look particularly impressive. But as Della hands this masterpiece over to you, Alwyn, you get the sense that it might well be enough to trick a creature of lesser intelligence, so long as they don't look too closely at it. So, Alwyn, you are stepping onto the bridge to present your quote-unquote papers. What is everybody else doing?
Watching.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Have we even seen what this troll looks like?
You've seen nothing. All you've heard is this rumbling voice come from the other end of the bridge.
See, the trolls live under the bridge, but you're fine as long as you don't have any goats.
I was just about to take animal form and see what would.
Yes. Take the form of a goat. See what happens. Yes.
So the rest of you are waiting from on the path. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Alwyn, as you step onto the bridge and you sort of hold this piece of bark off to the side, and sort of just dangle. You just kind of dangle it down so that it kind of disappears below, out of your eye line, and you feel something tug that bit of bark and take it from your hand, and you hear a voice pondering for a second. Papers not in order. You pay bridge tax now. I would like everybody to roll perception, please.
Didn't see that one coming. What are we rolling for?
You're rolling for initiative, because we're going into an encounter. But if you just roll perception, that's
24.
what you were using.
19.
Also,
16.
Right. So it was 16 for Brother Amos. Otto had 24.
Yes.
Lovely. Dela, yours was
19.
19. Alwyn,
also 19.
also 19. This seems to be happening a lot. Dela and Alwyn, which of you would like to go first?
Alwyn can go first.
Alright. I'm just going to roll for Nadia. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
So, should we feed the troll?
Oh, please don't feed the trolls.
I'll feed it my fist.
Professor Elemental, amazing song, amazing artist. Look at this. Whenever I get into arguments on Facebook groups, and I suspect they're a troll, I always post a link to that.
Do you know, I was thinking about that witch with her head cut off.
The Cold Sister, yes.
Yes, the Cold Sister. That well, it's too late now. But I can't help wondering if we'd found her head and put it back on, if she would restore her to life.
Well,
didn't-
that's the first one we saw on the road, carrying the sack with
Yes.
the blood in the body. I think that she had the head of.
Yes, but looking at the body still twitching after several days, I think it could be restored if you put the head back on. Well, I'm just curious.
I'm thinking about the time I punched a man so hard in the balls it killed him.
Ah, yes, a happy memory.
That is a very happy memory, one of which Dela will have absolutely no recollection.
I suppose it depends on where a person keeps their brains.
All right, folks. So, I'm ready. Thanks for your patience. Actually, going to be acting first with a mighty roll there from Nadia. Is going to be Nadia. You see, she hears this calling, this being called out, and she sort of looks at you and she sort of looks around at you all and says, "All right, well, I guess we're fighting this thing, whatever it is." She's going to draw her bow, and she's going to use her last two actions to ready a bow shot at the first creature she sees that isn't one of you guys. I feel like I should make that clear. That will end her turn. Acting next is going to be Otto. From where you currently are, you can't see anything as yet, but you can hear this rumbling sound as you hear something begin to move from under the bridge.
Well, I will step forward onto the bridge, and I will inquire, dear sir, how much is this tax, as our papers do not seem to be quite in order. Let us resolve this amicably.
Otto strides onto the bridge next to Alwyn and sort of calls out, "What is it you say, Otto?"
How much tax are we due, as our papers do not seem to be entirely in order? I hope we can resolve this amicably.
Let's have a diplomacy roll there, Otto.
Diplomacy. Oh, I'm very good at diplomacy. He says, 16.
16. Okay. All you hear in response there, Otto, is just a continued rumbling laugh.
He is happy and contemplating one or two copper pieces, I think, to allow our passage.
All right. Anything else with your turn, Otto? You've got one action left.
No, I won't do anything.
No worries. All right.
Can I just something that Neil may not be aware of when we have a spare action? It is possible to do a recall knowledge check. I'm just saying that because Neil may not be aware of it being a newer player.
A recall knowledge check. Can I think about what I know about trolls?
I'm so happy you jumped in on that, Stu. I've been trying. I'm so proud of you. Yes. Would you like to try and recall knowledge about this creature?
How do I do that?
I would like you to roll a society check for me, please. Now, I'm going to give you a -2 penalty on it because you've not seen this creature. You're going off of what you think the creature might be.
Ooh, in that case, with a -2 penalty, it comes to 24.
That's pretty damn good. Okay, so you start thinking about what you know about trolls, or certainly rather what folklore tells you about trolls. They are, generally speaking, quite tall, lanky green humanoids. They can be quite a common nuisance out in the wilderness, sort of waylaying travellers and such, or in this case, extorting them for money as they try to pass across their territory. You know that trolls are very famous for having regenerative abilities. Their injuries seem to heal almost as quickly as they are dealt. But you also know that such regeneration can be stopped either with acid or with fire. Okay. And the last thing that you think you know about trolls is that the creature known as Teb Notton was a variety of troll known as a moss troll.
Ted Notton.
He's the one that we fought just before coming through the portal.
Ah, the moss troll.
Got his spear.
That is true.
Right. So with that recall knowledge done, that's going to end Otto's turn. And as Otto's turn ends, there is a thud as the entire bridge shakes, and you see swinging up from under the bridge there is a tall, pale green coloured giant with scaled skin and large webbed hands and feet, and on the either side of its neck you can see that there are slotted gills that seem to pulse and drip with as gills are wont to do. But there is a thud as one of these creatures slams onto the bridge in front of you, Alwyn, and there is a second thud as one thuds onto the bridge, separating Alwyn, Otto and Chardonnay from the rest of the group. That's going to trigger Nadia's reaction with her bow shot, and she looses her bow at the first creature that appeared. And you see the arrow sticks into this creature's scaly hide, and there is a dribble of blood begins to run down from that wound. The creature roars in fury. Is going to stride towards you, Alwyn. As it does so, it lashes out with these long, gangly arms towards you. But that's bloody awful. That's a 16 to hit.
Oh no, that's a miss.
Okay, so it swings at you once with this clumsy club-like arm. Misses, and for second time it rolls even worse. So 2 big swings that do nothing but slam into the stone. It looked like it was trying to grab hold of you, Alwyn, as it did so. But nevertheless, it missed, and you found yourself ducking away from that. The second of the creatures, from its position where it is, also lifts up a fist and slams down towards Nadia. Oh, bloody hell. And that's an 11. And that's better.
Or worse, depending on your point of view.
So you can see this one also makes 2 wild swings towards Nadia. The first, she ducks to one side, but she's not fast enough to avoid the second, and she is smacked by that attack. And you can see that as she is hit, not only do you see a bit of blood go flying, you see this creature has grasped her firmly in its hand and has lifted her off the ground. That's going to end its turn. We are now on to Alwyn.
Right. Come on, Otto. We can take this one. Alwyn would like to draw his rapier and shield. He would like to move up to the creature.
All right.
Positioning himself between creature and Otto. That's 2 actions. Third action, he will command Chardonnay to move into a flanking position and attack.
All right. So Chardonnay darts off behind the creature. Is that all your actions there, Alwyn?
Yes, so with Chardonnay's attack, that's 23.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sorry. I forgot you had the attack coming in there. Sure. 23 is going to hit Alwyn. Roll some damage for me.
4 points of damage.
4 points. Very nice.
Piercing for what it's worth.
4 points of piercing. Creature does not seem to have any resistance to that damage there. It sort of takes it as normal from Chardonnay's bite. I think that's going to end your turn.
It does.
Okay, end of your turn. We're round to Dela. You've just seen a second of these creatures has swung out from the bridge and has snatched up Nadia in front of you.
Yeah, we can't be having that. So I am going to run up to the troll, see if I can stab it enough to get him to drop Nadia with my rapier.
You can certainly try. Let's have the attack.
17.
17 is not going to be enough to hit, Dela.
No. I will try it and swing in again. That's a bit better. 21.
A 21 will be enough to hit there. Roll damage.
5.
What was the damage, sorry? 5.
5, yeah.
Alright, 5 points of damage as you stab in with your weapon, Dela. Does not seem to be enough to make the creature drop Nadia.
Darn.
I think you are correct, which brings us around to Brother Amos.
I am going to move up to the creature and wallop it with my fists.
Alright.
So you stride. Blows.
Yeah, so you stride forward, darting between Dela and the creature's outstretched arm as it lifts Nadia up, and you drive 2 quick strikes into its chest. Roll those attacks.
28.
28, that's going to hit.
And a natural 20, 29.
That's going to be a critical hit there.
Crit card, yay!
You get a crit card. So, let's see what your crit card is. It's your fistula of bludgeoning damage. This is perfect. Okay. Darren, on your character sheet there should be a stat called a class DC.
Yes. 16.
Could you tell me what that is, please?
16.
16, okay.
16 seems very, very low. It should be proficiency of 6.
Yep.
Plus 10.
Yep.
Plus your key.
Ability score. So either your strength or your dexterity. Whichever's higher, really.
Okay, so it's 19.
19, there we go. Regardless, that is actually a fail on the creature's part. Please roll your damage as normal. So roll one lot of damage for one strike, then roll a second lot of damage and double it.
First one was 9. Second one doubled is... Oh no, wait, hold on. Yeah.
14, very, very good. Brother Amos, as you stride forward and you bring in your flurry of blows on the creature, your first one, you actually push the creature back a little bit, just off balance, and the second one, you leap into the air and crack the creature right in the elbow. You hear something break, and you watch as its grip loosens, and Nadia drops harmlessly to the ground. The crit card you drew was Numbing Blow. Which means you dealt damage as normal, and it also means that the target of this attack has become clumsy for 1 minute, and it had to succeed at a reflex save or drop something it was holding. And
Perfect card.
it was the perfect card.
Brilliant.
And yeah,
Wow.
I will tell you now, it did not say make that reflex save. Sort of howls in pain as you do this, Brother Amos. You've got an action left, I believe.
Punch it again.
Punch it again, why not?
No.
12. A 12 is going to miss, Brother Amos. You go for a third strike, and it just glides off the creature's muscle. But that will end your turn. Brings us back round at the top of the round to Nadia, who first up is going to spend an action to stand up. She will drop the bow and then draw her battle axe. And her last action will be to step around you, Brother Amos, and just try and squeeze into a better position next to the edge of the bridge, sort of spitting and swearing the entire time as she does so. You can see she's spitting out a mouthful of snow that she acquired on the way down. But that's going to end her turn, which brings us on to Otto.
Otto will move into position where I can do something without harming.
You wouldn't. Even if you stood right behind me, you can still fire things at him without having to move, without hitting me.
Including acid splash.
Yeah. Acid splash will hit anyone within a 5-foot radius.
So Chardonnay will be hit by it.
Or Alwyn, because these are big creatures, so it's going to be one side or the other, presumably. Although Dom will tell us that.
These things are particularly susceptible to acid.
So you believe, at least. So you believe.
So I believe.
And something else.
Fire? Are they susceptible to fire? Well, why don't I give it a try and see if they are? That's always an old favourite. I will produce flame.
Right, you cast Produce Flame. Which one are you attacking, Otto? The one between Alwyn and Chardonnay, or the one?
Yes, that one.
That one. Sure thing. Roll that attack.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Fantastic. All right then. Okay, so let's see what you got.
Make a spell attack roll. On success, your ideal 1d4 fire damage plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
I think that's gone up now as well because you're level 4, so it should be heightened to level 2.
Right, what does that mean?
So in the spell description, there should be a bit near the bottom that says heightened.
Oh yes, increase the damage by 1d4 and the persistent damage on a critical hit by 1d4.
There we go. Okay, so you're rolling 2d4 plus your spellcasting modifier, and then double the whole lot.
Right, my spellcasting modifier is... that is my spell attack roll.
No, your spellcasting modifier as a sorcerer is your charisma.
Ah, this is my charisma. Right, so 2d4, which is 3, plus 2, plus charisma is 8, double to 16.
16, very nice. Yeah, you let loose that little blast of fire that scores across the creature's flesh. The fire itself does damage. It doesn't seem to have any particular extra effect on this creature as you hit it. You do still do the damage as normal, and what you do notice, Otto, is as that blast of fire washes over the creature, its muscles seem to stiffen and tighten up just a little bit. The crit card you drew was nerve damage. So that target is now slowed 1 until it is healed, which I suspect it may never get a chance to do. But we'll see what happens.
Let us hope.
Alright, you've got 1 action left on your turn, Otto.
I think I will just put up my shield, my buckler.
Alright, you raise your shield to protect yourself from any incoming attack. End of your turn, Otto. We are round to the creatures. One that Otto has just hit with a fire is once again going to make an attack towards you, Alwyn. Sort of grimacing and groaning the whole time as it swings its fist towards you. I've got a 22 to hit, Alwyn.
Oh, because I haven't had a chance to raise my shield. That is just enough to hit, yeah.
Alright, Alwyn, so as this big meaty hand rushes towards you, you brace yourself for impact, but and there is an impact. It doesn't do you any damage, but you do suddenly find that you are grabbed by this creature, and it lifts you aloft, turns you upside down, and for its second action, it's going to shake you down. It starts shaking you very vigorously in the air. Could you please roll a... Please roll a d20 for me, Stu. 12, okay. So start... I would like you to look at your inventory, please, Stu. Counting down from the top, I would like you to tell me what the 12th item is. If you have less than 12 items, just keep circling around until you hit one.
Well, it's 3 things. 3 files of giant centipede venom.
Okay. That's interesting. In that case, could you please roll an additional d20 for me, please? 15, okay. So as you're pitched upside down by this creature, Alwyn, starts shaking you very vigorously, and you feel something coming loose from your pack, and there is a clatter and a smash as these 3 vials of giant centipede venom fall out of your pack. One of them breaks. It looks like the other 2 remain intact. And the whole time this is happening, this creature is just yelling at you, "Bridge tax, bridge tax!" But because it was slowed last turn, that's going to end its turn. The other creature is going to swing towards Dela and hopefully do the same. That is a 21 to hit.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, once again, it grabs hold of you, Dela, lifts you up in the air, and begins to shake you vigorously. Please also roll a d20.
6.
6. And then count down your inventory.
My 14 rations.
There's a clatter and a soft thud as basically all your food falls out of your various pouches.
That's a last thing to lose.
Does the moist cake splatter when it hits the
The moist cake does splatter.
Not my copy of Reader's Wives, anything but that.
And as this creature is sort of shaking you there, Dela, once again it sort of yells, "Bridge tax, bridge tax!" Seems to get a little bit frustrated with you seeing nothing but cake falling out, and is then going to pitch you into the ground. Please give me a reflex saving throw. 25, that is enough. You are slammed into the ground there, Dela. You would be taking 7 points of bludgeoning damage, but instead that's going to be reduced to 3 as you're able to kind of twist in the air like a cat and get back on your feet, and you are also not knocked prone from that attack. That's going to end their turn regardless. Alwyn, we're round to you.
Right, because he's clearly trying to get this bridge tax out of us. Alwyn would like to drop his shield for a free action.
Alright.
Draw a gold coin.
So, as a reminder, Alwyn, you are currently grabbed.
Yes. But if possible, I'd like to draw a gold coin.
I'll need you to roll a d20 for me.
10.
10. Okay, that's fine. You are able to draw your gold piece.
And I will offer it to the troll, saying, "Here, it's my bridge tax. It's a gold coin."
Yes. Bridge tax gold. All gold.
Yes, that's all the gold I have.
Give me a deception roll, Alwyn.
How do you know that's deception? Have you been looking at my character sheet?
I might have been.
I rolled a 3, so I'd like to use my hero point.
You may use your hero points, Stu.
Worth it. 19.
There we go. All right. We'll see what happens in just a moment. But this creature sort of looks at you. It does take the gold coin from you as you say this. Okay. End of Alwyn. Anything else on your turn, Alwyn?
Well, yeah, because that's just one action, like drawing it and saying something, isn't it?
Yes.
I'd like to use the other 2 to ready an action to stab it with the rapier if it doesn't stop attacking me.
Alright, that's fine. End of your turn then, Alwyn. We are round to Dela. Dela, you have just heard Alwyn sort of say, "This is all my gold, here's my bridge tax." Do what you'd like with that information.
So Dela is going to also grab a gold coin and flick it over to the other beast. Here's my tax.
It's not a witcher.
I'm not tossing it, I'm flicking it.
Yes, bridge tax, all gold, all gold.
All the gold is in your hand.
Deception roll, please, Dela.
Yeah. Rolled a 1.
Do you want to keep it as a 1?
No. I'll use my hero point.
All right.
Okay. I rolled an 11, so 21.
Okay, that's pretty good. Once again, this creature sort of, having just pitched you into the ground, takes the gold coin and seems to shift its attention elsewhere. You've got 2 actions left.
Am I considered in a flanking position now? Nadia's moved around a bit.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I will ready a stabbing attack. Should things not go the way we hope.
Sure. So what's your trigger for your reaction?
If he comes to lunge and grab someone again.
All right, no worries. End of your turn, Dela. It's Brother Amos.
Your comrades are still in jeopardy. They're both being held by these creatures.
Your punches will land harder if you're holding gold coins.
This is true. Yeah, I just want to punch the trolls. I'm going to punch the trolls.
All right, roll that attack.
Has anyone else put 50 pence pieces in their knuckles to make them like brass knuckles if you're worried, like walking down the street and worried you're being followed?
Keys are better. A bunch of keys.
Oh yeah, keys are better, but yeah, I've done it with 50 pence pieces as well.
Or if you get a roll of coins, when they're wrapped in paper, you just hold that in your fist.
I don't tend to carry those around with me when I go out.
It's a handy thing to have.
A big costume jewel.
And if what else fails, I've heard a newspaper can do the job just as well.
Oh yes, folded enough. It's called a millwool brick.
That's the one.
Yes,
Or wrapped around a steel bar. I've been hit by one of those before.
Anyway, we're getting distracted. Brother Amos, you were attacking the creature, is that correct?
27.
All right.
I rolled a 27.
27 is good enough to hit. Roll damage.
5.
5 points of damage, very nice. And your last 2 actions, Brother Amos.
I'm going to hit it again. Oh shit. I just rolled a natural 1.
Would you like to keep it as a 1?
No, I don't think I would.
All right.
I'll use my hero point and roll again. That's a 19.
19, that's much better. A 19 is not enough to hit, though, Brother Amos. It's just a miss.
Okay, I have 1 action left.
You do.
I'm going to take another swing at it. I don't like trolls.
Take another swing. Roll that attack.
Just drop my dice and roll and roll. Fox. I just rolled a 1.
Please roll a d6 there for me, Darren.
3.
That is a critical fumble. Let's see what you got. Okay. As your strike goes in there, Brother Amos, you catch it at a bit of a bad angle, and you find that as your fist glides across this creature's body, something cracks in your wrist, and your entire hand goes numb. You are taking -2 on your attack rolls until the end of your next turn.
Fucking trolls. Trying to take our money and now he broke my hand.
So basically, you just done to yourself what you did before to the to the creature.
That's it.
Yeah, bollocks.
All right. Well, end of your turn there, Brother Amos. We are round to Nadia, who's sort of looking around at all of you. Do we think they'll leave us alone if we pay them?
Yes.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
All right. You see, she also is going to fumble in her pouch for a coin, and is going to offer it to the creature, which the creature takes and once again bellows, "All gold, all gold." And you can see Nadia sort of says, That is all my gold. That is." And as she does so, there's a clinking of metal on stone as a few other coins fall from her grasp and clatter onto the stone bridge.
Well done, Nadia.
And the creature sort of looks at them and looks down and growls, "All gold, all gold," and sort of turns to face towards her. And as it does that, that's where we're going to end for tonight, folks.
Cheeky.
Tales from the 20 Side is a Feagle Films production in association with Juicy Fools. Music by hooksounds.com and editing by Stu Jackson. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Discord by searching Tales from the 20 Side or by visiting talesfromthe20side.com.
These trolls won't get a fucking penny out of me.
Clearly.